Hi, I'm Mark, the chaplain from Sharon Regional Hospice. This is being recorded on July 3rd, and I wanted to make this recording today because this is my father's birthday. All those years ago when he was born in North Philadelphia. And it brings to me the importance of dealing with children in grief. Because you see, I was only 17 when my father passed away. He was 55. And this man who'd been so active, so vigorous for so long, suddenly he wasn't there anymore. Suddenly I couldn't see him at breakfast or lunch or dinner. Suddenly the man I could go for a walk with, now he was in a box in a funeral home. And then I had to go and see him being put in the ground. And none of it made sense to me. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to just take some time to talk about how children grieve, because they do. You see, children lack adult skills. One of the problems I've dealt with, by the way, is adults lack adult skills. But whatever their current stage of development is, how they deal with grief is going to reflect that. Babies are more perceptive than people give them credit for. Babies can realize that something's going on. They can feel, they can sense the upset. Now, of course, they don't have the language skills to be able to express this, but they can grasp that something's happening. And so their behavior might change, and it change in unexpected ways. Get a little older, toddlers, understanding takes time. And they have to understand that this person is not just a little less alive, they have died. And please don't use words like they've passed away or they've gone to sleep or so on. That just confuses them. And when I think about this, I think of what a friend of mine said. Because when she was little, her grandfather died. She was around 4. And she went to the funeral and she saw Grandpa motionless. He was in a box. And she didn't understand what was going on because she wanted him to get out of the box and play with her. And so she got angry with her mother, got angry with her aunt, and wanted to know, why isn't Grandpa playing with me? Why isn't he moving? And then, why are you closing the box? Why are you putting him in the ground? Okay. And they may be grappling with the difference between reality and fantasy. They may be engaging in what's called magical thinking, that if certain events occur, then this person will no longer be dead. Older than that, 6 to 9, may be thinking that what's going on here, death only happens to old people, so I should be safe. But then he died or she died, maybe death is contagious. And so you have to, when it comes to situations like this, you have to follow the child's lead. Older than that can be more abstract, move on to why, can tap into gender roles even. And then when you end up with, like my age at 17, then you can still get into that intellectual understanding somewhat more. But everybody's going to grieve their own way. You can grieve in the middle of a day. Something trivial happens, and yet it triggers you to feel sorrow. Maybe worrying about talking about it at all. Maybe if I talk about being sad, other people are going to die too. And I found this term, which I think is very descriptive, the term grief spasm. It can be like a physical spasm. It just happens. Suddenly you're grieving. You didn't expect it. You didn't plan for it. And there is even the challenge of regressing temporarily. The boy or the girl may seem to be pursuing their grief, going through the process, and yet they sort of plateau, and then they regress, they fall back. An 8-year-old boy who hasn't sucked his thumb in years may start sucking his thumb. A little girl might start talking in baby talk again. And that's just because maybe they've done enough grief work for a while, and they don't need to do it much anymore. There are those who express grief in actions. You may even find children who are playing dead. And in the midst of it all, please understand the importance of remaining there with your child. Having those conversations. If you don't know something, admit it. And here's what you can do in those moments. You can educate yourself. There's an outfit we recommend called Hospice We Promise, which has all sorts of materials for the grieving process. You can search the internet and see where your local behavior bereavement coordinator is, who can help deal with the behaviors. You know, there is help out there. And in the process of it all, you can grieve together. And in grieving together, you can find ways to move forward through that whole process so that there can be a sense of resolution. It was 1974 when my father passed away. And I still miss him every day. I've moved on with my life. I have been, I think, successful. But there are times when I still wish he was around. Now, as a Christian, of course, I'm able to look forward to the day when I can see him again in glory. He is now a part of, as it says in Hebrews, the great cloud of witnesses, cheering me on, and occasionally probably asking, "Why'd you do that?" Which, if he is, he's just the same dad I had in this life. But also, for those of you whose parents are still living, who may be failing, please do this. Have those conversations now. I had a friend who had a conflicted relationship with her mom, and she ended up as her mom's principal caregiver. And I said to her, talk to her, converse with her, seek a resolution, find those positive memories that may be there. And then I made it a threat. And I said, because if you don't do it, and after she dies you complain you didn't do it, I'm going to say, I told you so. So understand, grief is the price we pay for having love in our lives. And that can be a heavy price. But also means you had love. And in all these ways, we can seek to resolve and heal and move on. Not to forget, to remember, but to remember with a sense of expectation for a great heavenly reunion. Thank you.